Today's NHL is tougher than ever before. Reaching the sport's pinnacle takes a unique blend of speed, skill, and determination. But all elite teams share one thing in common. Their success starts here. There are no shortcuts. In a game played at breakneck pace, sometimes good things come to those who wait. In Edmonton and Toronto, frustrated fan bases have turned their attention to a potential savior. Both hope patience in the present will pay off in the future. At their peak, the New Jersey Devils built championship teams with impact players selected in the summer. That's been the blueprint of Montreal, where a roster of homegrown talent has the Canadiens sitting amongst the league's best.
Also wants the puck, he shoots, he scores!
The Senators lineup has its roots planted firmly in drafts both recent and old. Tonight, a former Sens selection turned all-star leads the Blue Jackets into the nation's capital. Whether from the past or the future, the draft echoes through tonight on Hockey Night in Canada.
Hello, Canada and hockey fans, United States and Newfoundland.
What a beautiful night it is for Hockey Night in Canada. The biggest night of the week in the game that we love, CBC Television, the Edmonton Oilers and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Also in Punjabi on Omni. That's one game happening. Montreal. Exciting times for them, the Devils and the Habs. That game on City. Another early game tonight. Ottawa, as we skate the Rideau Canal hand in hand. Jackets and the Senators, Sportsnet, and a big one tonight, a late game. Not since Zeppelin won the West has a team from the East been so dominant over Western teams, and that's the big game tonight. Sidney Crosby and the Penguins against the Vancouver Canucks. That one will be the one. And we all watch on CBC Television. A lot of hockey action to get to. Let's just start with you, Kelly, in the Montreal Canadian game tonight.
Carey Price is in a rare category right now. He's intimidating the opponents, and you don't normally do that. A lot of times guys respect you, but they're not scared of you. And you think of Carey Price, he's only 27 years old. So we're talking about him in the Vezina and Hart Trophy candidate. Well, he's only entering his prime. He still has 5 or 6 years left of great hockey.
Edmonton and Toronto.
Well, the big story here is that David Clarkson's been made a healthy scratch by the Toronto Maple Leafs, so that one has certainly been a bit of a surprise. Edmonton played its worst game since Todd Nelson took over as head coach on Wednesday night in a 2-0 home loss to Pittsburgh. Curious to see how they respond after that performance.
That game is going to be on CBC. Kelly's will be on City on the other channel, Sportsnet. It'll be Ottawa and Columbus.
Nick Foligno returning to Ottawa this time as a 20-goal scorer, as an NHL All-Star and a multi-millionaire.
He's earned it.
6-year deal. He got traded for Mark Mathot once upon a time. Mark Mathot, a pending UFA. I wonder how Ottawa fans will feel about the trade if they lose Mathot.
Would you
July
make that deal?
1st.
Would you make that deal now?
I like Mathot signed on a long-term deal. I like defense, but it's hard to argue
I like
the
both their
success of
players.
Foligno.
Yeah.
Exciting night for sure. 3 games early. There's another one on FX. The Bruins and the Islanders. That'll be a big one as well to watch. Puck drops. 4 games, my friend. Game Center Live has got them all. This is Hockey Night in Canada.
This period brought to you by Scotiabank, proud supporter of over 5,000 community hockey teams and Canada's 5th season.
Great to have you along here at the Bell Center. The Montreal Canadiens wrapping up a 4-game homestand as they welcome in the New Jersey Devils. The Montreal Canadiens fighting for first in the Eastern Conference. The Devils fighting for their playoff lives. 10 points out of a playoff spot, but playing their best hockey of the year. It won't be easy, though, against a very good Montreal Canadian team. Yes, another sellout here at the Bell Center. No surprise there. And welcome in. 1 week ago, a very different story for the Montreal Canadiens. They shut out the Washington Capitals, a 15th win in their last 19 games. However, in the last week, back-to-back losses on home ice against bottom feeders in the NHL. So is there some panic in Montreal? Not a bit. Head coach Michel Therrien telling us, look, we're a young team. We have young players, and it's a great opportunity for them to show what they're all about tonight, 1 month before the trade deadline. And that's true because the Canadians will have 6 players aged 22 or younger in their lineup tonight, including Jacob de la Rose, played in his 2nd NHL game. Manny Malhotra, a healthy scratch for the Habs, who go back to Carey Price in net looking for his 28th win of the year. Keith Kincaid will get the start. A rookie, a 25-year-old, starts in net for the Devils, who've won 3 straight. They are 9-1-1 here at the Bell Center in their last 11 games. So something about Montreal brings the best out of the Devils. Meanwhile, Carey Price, he is Mr. Saturday night. He is 9-1-1 in Saturday night games here at the Bell Center. So it's been a good run for Carey Price as he looks to get the Habs back on the right side of the ledger, taking on the Devils. Gary Galley, Dave Randorf will have your call. But first, Michel Lacroix sets up the national anthems.
Et retirer les chapeaux et casquettes pour l'interprétation des hymnes nationaux par Sherilyn Toka. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and move your hats and caps for the singing of the national anthems by Ms. Sherilyn Toka.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Canada, terre de nos aïeux, ton front est ceint de fleurs en glorieux, car ton bras s'est porté l'épée, il s'est porté la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for
Good evening, everybody, coast to coast. Welcome to this chilly night, this Saturday night in Montreal, where one more time the Bell Center will be filled to the rafters with the fans hoping the home team can get back on track. They've lost 2 in a row, both here at the Bell Center and both against opponents that are well below them in the standings. There's Patrick Elias, who's in the starting lineup for the Devils tonight. 400 career goals. He got the 400 last night, the game winner against the Toronto Maple Leafs. When the Devils come to town, that meant for years we would see Martin Brodeur. Not anymore, and tonight it is 25-year-old rookie Keith Kincaid, who's from Long Island, making his 12th career start, and up until today, he'd never even been in this building. Down at the other end, you got Carey Price, 27 wins on the season, 16 of them here in the Bell Center. He's got the best save percentage in the NHL. and the second best goals against, and he is having an MVP type season. And there is Jaromir Jagr, who will be 43 years of age in 8 days. Will he be a Devil after the trade deadline? The New Jersey Devils have been much better of late. They come in on a roll 5-0-1, and they've won 3 in a row, as David Amber was just mentioning. And right away, this puck is sent all the way down the ice. Race forward. Pacioretty's going to get there first and digging around the boards. Markov waits for it, puts it back to the net where it's handled by Pacioretty, puts it up high to his reunited line mate, David Desharnais. Montreal has struggled to score goals of late, and Michel Therrien has struggled the lines a little bit, and one of the moves he's made is to put Desharnais back with Pacioretty. That one tip past Markov and down the ice. Here is PK Subban. Montreal's last game was Tuesday night against the Buffalo Sabres. A 3-2 loss. They allowed 3 first-period goals for the first time all season. Here's Gallagher at the line trying to get it to Galchenyuk in front, and he couldn't get the good shot away. And behind the net is Alex Galchenyuk trying to skate away from Zidlinsky. Moves it back to the line where it's sent back in by Gonchar. Out in front, quick shot, and Kincaid has to make his first challenging save of the night.
One of the guys we highlighted in the opening was Brendan Gallagher, and the fact that he's one of those guys they do need to start chipping in. His last goal was January 20th. He's got 1 assist in his last 4 games, and here he's going to get a really good look at one in the slot here. Nice turnaround by Plekanec. He's so good in tight finding you. Gallagher on the forehand, but a pretty good first save for Kincaid.
Thomas Plekanec taking that draw against the former Canadian Mike Camilleri. This is his 5th game back at the Bell Center since his days as a Canadian. He has yet to register a point in an opposing jersey, but he's having a solid season with the Devils. His first year. Up high in the slot, Jagr leaves it for Peter Harold. His shot off both posts and in. That was in the net, and the Devils have struck first.
Well, not quite the way you want to start, and Montreal notoriously does not have good first period starts. They go on the least amount of goals scored, and they're playing against a New Jersey team who's very stingy in the first period. They've only allowed 26 all year, and they're going to get on the board first as Jaromir Jagr. It almost looks like he loses the puck as he's stick handling across the top of the circle, and as he loses it, it rolls to Harold, and he just lobs one in, and the deflection right in the slot by Mike Camilleri, the ex-Montreal Canadian, who's going to get a stick on this thing. He has been red hot of late for the New Jersey Devils. Scoring game-winning goals seems to be his thing. He's got 7 of them this year and 4 in the last 8 games, and if that's the game winner, we're looking at a 1-0 hockey game.
Well, we just mentioned that Camilleri did not have a point in his return to this building. Now he does on a shot by Peter Harold, and right away the Canadians find themselves down a goal on New Jersey's first shot of the game. Puck rolls into the Montreal zone where it's gathered up by Alexei Yemelin.
The new coaches came in, the 3 co-coaches, and one of the decisions that they did make was to move Mike Camilleri from his wing position to center ice. And that pushed a couple of guys, including Gomez to center and Henrique to the wing. And Mike Camilleri, this is his 13th game at center. He's got a nose for the net. Right there you see the tip just above the dots and the hash marks, and sent the puck on a bit of a wobble, and Carey Price no chance to make the motion to get the glove up. We talked, Kelly Rudy said he likes to keep his glove a little bit higher, but that deflection fooled him.
18th goal of the season. Harold and Jagr draw the assist 93 seconds into the game, Gals.
Well, Carey Price, what does he do for you? I'll tell you what he does for you. On the last road trip, they played some pretty strong teams. You look at the Washington Capitals and the Rangers, back-to-back shutouts. Also put in Dallas and the Nashville Predators, who are one of the top teams in the National Hockey League. And how much goal support did he get in those 4 games? 7 goals. That's all the Montreal Canadiens scored for Carey Price. So how many games of those did they win? They won all 4 of them. That's because he only allowed 7 goals. That's what Carey Price brings to the table. That's why he is the front runner for the Hart Trophy right now. Runner-up, me, would be Rick Nash. But right now, I like Carey Price.
The Canadians with just 6 goals scored in their last 4 games. And that one clipped a player along the bench there. So that faceoff is coming back inside the Montreal blue line. And There's a lot of talk about the MVP race and Carey Price. Down at the other end, you got Keith Kincaid, and this was somewhat surprising because Corey Schneider seemingly plays every single night for the Devils.
Well, he started the first 20 games of the season, played 27 of the first 28. And this guy is a guy who's wanted to play a lot of games. His most he's ever played, I think, was in Moose Jaw. He had 60. And to this year, he's got 45, which leads the National Hockey League. But I'll tell you what, I think he would have rather been playing tonight than sit and watch it.
Than playing last night. He wanted to
wants to play them all.
Yeah,
I don't think it matters last night, tonight. He's been waiting for this moment.
Well, he mentioned that, he used to play behind Luongo in Vancouver, who always started here in his hometown, and then, of course, Marty Brodeur last year.
Yeah, and the coaches have these games on the calendar, and they know when they want to give their guy a rest. And Lou Lamoriello and Adam Oates and Scott Stevens probably discussed it, and they felt like, let's give this Kincaid a chance. He's played Montreal once this year already. It was a loss, but he knows them a little bit. Maybe it's familiarity for him.
Made one save earlier. Good shot inside. That's right, it was. Adam Larsson, the first-round pick, number 5, becoming a more regular fixture in the lineup after being up and down the last couple of seasons. Martin Havlat, number 9, swipes at that puck, and Subban contends for the neutral zone, and they'll reset at the back end.
Well, injuries to Salvador and Severson, I think, have opened up a little more time for Larsson.
Dale Weiss with a nice pass. There's a shot up high on Kincaid from Pacioretty. The puck comes all the way onto the blue line and beyond. Dale Weiss still up on that top line with Max Pacioretty, and that hard wrist shot appears to have stung Kincaid.
We may see Corey Schneider. Look at him. He is getting up. That thing hit him, and you could tell right away it stung him. And these goaltenders are loaded full of equipment. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's hard to hit a spot where they don't have something, but every now and then a puck can catch you, and it looks like this caught him up maybe in the collarbone area. And there's some, when you don't want stuff tight around your neck if you're a goaltender. You want it to be a little bit loose so you can move around, get your head turning. And sometimes as you turn your head or move your head, it can open up that collarbone area. And if you ever get one of these shots off the collarbone, I'm going to tell you, right there, it hits him. Those will hurt. Your whole arm will go numb. Your fingers will go numb. He's looking at the referee right there. He's like, I need a few seconds to regroup here, guy. And good job by the referee to recognize it and make the call for him. And this is a pretty good shot. It's a high riser. Right from the outside from a guy that can bring it, Max Pacioretty, and you could tell immediately as it hit him, it stung him. And good job by Kincaid to stay upright, because that was a high riser, and he's going to stay in this game, and it would take something pretty bad to take him out of there. These are games that he's been waiting to get into and play, and in a setting like the Bell Center, I'm sure he's been excited about it, and he's going to shake this off, but you can tell by his eyes that that's a stinger.
And Corey Schneider put the baseball hat back on for now. Kincaid had a great moment earlier this season when he got the starts on Long Island in the building he grew up going to games with his dad. Here's Steve Bernier from Quebec City. He's recently been on a goal-scoring tear. Gets it to Henrik, puts it back to the line. Larson's one-timer knocked down in front. To the line, held there by Larsson, and now it squeezes outside the blue line. Here's Galchenyuk. 3-on-2 in over the line. Galchenyuk takes the shot, and it's kicked aside by Kincaid. Brendan Gallagher is down low, working against Green. Andy Green, their minutes leader on the back end in New Jersey. Skates that puck away, and now Gallagher tries to jar it free. They get in the center, and not much further before it's dumped back in by Thomas Plekanec. Here's Camilleri. He'll go cross ice. John Merrill tips it out to center. There's Dinah Subras, former Montreal Canadian himself. Here's Camilleri now. One hand on the stick, peels back, then feeds it down low to Jagr. Jagr ran into Subban, who takes the puck away, puts it up the boards to Weiss. Weiss finds Darnay on the move, straight up the middle. He'll drop it off to Pacioretty. Pacioretty shoots, and that hits Merrill right in front, and that's sent out by the Devils. Darnay to Piquet, makes one little move, spins around, drops it off for Darnay. They enter the zone. Here's Darnay, and he tried to get it to Weiss, mishandled it, and it's taken away by Subras. Montreal, not known for its goal-scoring prowess in the first period.
Pacioretty's got to hustle out of the zone. Because he didn't hustle out of the zone and he glided out of it, Gilbert had to dump it in offside, so they had to retreat out into the neutral zone and let New Jersey exit the zone easily.
Price keeps that puck moving around the boards. There's Ruutu, but Eller's got it now. Jordan Tutu chops at it. Jacob Josephson out of the corner. Another former first-round draft pick of the Devils. Moved up the right side boards all the way down the ice, and this will be icing against Montreal.
PK Subban in the neutral zone, and he may be 43 years old in 8 days, but he's still got a little bit to him there. A little whack on the wrist of PK Subban. Here's Max Pacioretty. Watch him as he comes across the goal line. He stops skating right there. And that's just a few feet. If you work hard to get out of the zone, that dump in by Gilbert, the Canadians would have been able to apply some pressure on New Jersey.
And the Devils have the puck again inside the blue line. Now it comes free for Christian Thomas. Thomas in his 12th NHL game steps in there. Has De La Rose headed for the front of the net. Jacob De La Rose, number 25. This is just his second NHL game. The 19-year-old from Sweden. Nathan Beaulieu takes the hit, makes the play, gets it away to Yevlin. Off to Eller. High praise for Michel Therrien for Jacob De La Rose. Feels he is going to be a player. Telling you and I before the game tonight.
You can't just look at where a player is now. You've got to try to project where you think he's going to be and how he's going to fit into the way your organization structures itself. And they look at him, and he's big and strong, and he understands the game. They look at him as being a real plus for their organization moving forward. You've got to be careful with him right now. Like you said, he's still young, but giving him some games here, I think, is a really good idea.
Here's Sekoch now, toe drag, weak shot, rebound for Dumont. And Kincaid came across and made another stop. Gabriel Dumont back in the lineup as well, the captain of Hamilton in the American League. Here come the Devils, great glove stop by Price as he does the windmill and he goes into the corner. Here's Elias now, couldn't handle the pass, and it's taken away by Price. Backing up is Mark Fraser. Long lead pass for Elias, who steps in. In front, looking for Travis Zajac. Zajac with the backhand feed. Larson tips it, and Green steps up. Andy Green down low, goes back into the corner where PK's got it. Here's Gallagher. Back and forth, Brendan Gallagher steps in, and Galchenyuk was just a step ahead of him. Offside at the Devils' blue line. 1-0 Devils on the tip from Mike Camilleri on Hockey Night in Canada.
Here is Patrick Elias. Last night was a very special night for him, taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs at home. He became the 91st player in NHL history to reach the 400-goal milestone. The 38-year-old eclipsed 1,000 points earlier this season. What a career he's put together. Go to the bottom of the screen there. 80 game-winning goals, guys. 2 Stanley Cup winners, and again, a 3-time Olympian. So I asked Lou Lamoriello, is Patrick Elias a Hall of Famer? He says, no doubt. He told me, he said, let's look at his accomplishments, his longevity, and most importantly, he says, look at the fact he can play in all situations. Up a goal, down a goal, special teams, it doesn't matter. This guy deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Dave?
More importantly, I think even to that, guys, his sweater will go up in New Jersey, but he did it under a defensively structured system. This is a guy who put up over 1,000 points playing for the New Jersey Devils, and that's a person that sacrifices his offensive numbers for the benefit of the hockey club, and that's about winning games and winning Stanley Cups, and that defines Patrick Elias with the New Jersey Devils. Certainly, his sweater will go up in the Raptors. In the Hall of Fame, you wouldn't get an argument from me.
Just the 15th player in NHL history to get 1,000 points with one team.
200-foot player. He can play in all zones of the ice and really respected by everyone in the New Jersey organization and the guys that he played with.
Here's Thomas Plekanec. One of his Czech countrymen turns and spins a shot that is wide of the net. Markov picks it up. Wrist shot, and then it's snared by Kincaid. Nice save through traffic.
Well, he is the franchise leader, and what great milestones he's eclipsed. You heard Dave talking about him. He got the 1,000-point and the 600th assist in the same game, 400th last night, and there where you see where he fits in the organizational scheme of things, and some great players following him, but right at the top, Patrick Elias.
Drafted 51st overall back in 1994. Here's Travis Zajac hustling after that puck, was second to it, and Darnay can't get it past Sidlinski. John Merrill now with it. Goes cross ice over to Martin Havlat. Havlat in there looking for Elias. Sajak following up. He got the assist to the 400th last night. Chases after the loose puck. Gets some help from Merrill. There's Beaulieu. Puts it into the corner. Flipped up in the air and pulled down by Pacioretty. Max Pacioretty sitting right now on 23 goals. Here's Dale Weiss in front looking for Pacioretty, and he couldn't get a shot away. Stick in the lane. Here's Pacioretty again. Up top, throws it towards the net, bounces just past the post. Dale Weiss battling down low. Off the boards it goes. Beaulieu tries to hold it there against Havlat and gets a little help from Weiss, but there it's poked free. Yettman goes across to Weller. Look out, him and Beaulieu almost got their wires crossed. Now they're all right. Here's Zeller. Scott Gomez out of the ice for the Devils. His first game back in the Bell Center since he played for the Canadiens.
The unfortunate thing, like a guy like Tommy Kerbers, who was traded for Scott Niedermayer here in New Jersey, one of the great deals by Lamoriello is Gomez for McDonough, and that's the one that's hard to forget.
And now he's got the puck, looking for help. Gomez was looking for late help in Harold, but it's intercepted by Jacob Delarose. Delarose applying some pressure to Harold, and he hammers him along the end boards. Steve Bernier's in there as well. Here's Thomas taking a look around. Lars Eller pinned there by Harold. Back to the line. Yemelin holds it, throws it across to Tom Gilbert, takes a look, fires it. Wide off for the end boards. Thomas down for Eller. Eller spinning away from traffic. Now Gilbert has stepped up. He'll flip it to open ice in the near corner where Mark Fraser is there, and he is leveled also by Delarose. Throwing his weight around.
He's a big boy, and he likes the contact. Mark Fraser is not a small guy and launched into him pretty good there.
Beaulieu off the boards and in. And the Devils get possession behind their own net, working up the board. Josephs and a rather rude to lost his balance, and then he was hit. That was Dumont supplying the body check there. Now Jordan Tutu with the puck goes to Ruutu. His shot is whistled wide, stick side on Price. Ruutu giving a pump by Dumont, who falls down, and here is Gonchar. Sergei Gonchar now with the lead, feet up to Beaulieu. Steps in, leads her for Prust. And Prust throws that one into the corner. Prust, one of the goal scorers for Montreal on Tuesday night against the Sabres. There's Jerry Seikoch trying to find that thing, and he can't keep it in there, but now he's got it right back. Seikoch for Beaulieu, just missed with a pass. Goes back into the corner and scores free to the line. Buchanan keeps it in there. Bangs beat up for Galchenyuk. Canadians are really laying the body right now.
They're not known for their over-physical play, but when you've lost 2 games in a row, I can tell you what, that'll turn you into a physical team.
They cause another turnover. They have the puck inside the blue line. Here's Buchanan. Thomas Buchanan's looking for a tip. Going hard to the front of the net there was Brendan Gallagher, and he just missed. Here's Subban now, spinning around, got it to Markov. Markov a center right. Gallagher on his backhand sends it back in there. And Kincaid will leave it for John Merrill. Over to Marek Zidlinski. Long feed down the ice, misses Havlat, and that is icing against the Devils. Well, get closer to the button for all the news and analysis from the house. Visit sportsnet.ca/curling and follow us on Twitter @Sportsnet. Face off deep in the Devils' end. To the right of Kincaid, won by David Desharnais. Yellen with a drive, pad save, loose rebound there for Weiss, and he couldn't get a second shot on net. 1-0 and a goal by Mike Camilleri. Here's Desharnais back in there. His wrist shot. Pacioretty spins it back out there, and it's intercepted by Havlat. Thrown down the ice. Yellen puts it back up the boards, and David Desharnais resets. Under 7 minutes to go in the first. Larson puts it back out to center. He'll get it again. Larson flips this one up in the air. Larson was a 4th overall pick in 2011. Here's Beaulieu. Beaulieu spins it out in front, and that one is broken up by Green. Green is not a big defenseman, but he is very reliable for him back there. There's Bernier banging and crashing along with Thomas on the sideboard. Now Pacioretty curls back, lost possession of the puck. Steve Bernier with room to skate it out to center. Gets to the blue line, chips it in there, goes into the corner after. In there against Gonchar. Bernier, Gonchar, Eller all digging for it. Now Sekac has it. There is Sekac, gets it back to Gonchar. And back up now to Beaulieu. Tipped in there by De La Rose, and Kincaid is not going to take any chances. He will cover up and hang on to his 1-goal lead. The goal coming from that guy at the Bell Center tonight. Welcome back to Hockey Night in Canada on a Saturday night. The Canadians down 1-0.
Well, one of the things that the Montreal Canadiens want to do in this month, climbing towards the trade deadline, is to see what their young players can do. Play them in some games, see if they've got what it takes to be involved in a playoff run. And you see Jacob De La Rose, the one thing they like about him is his physical play. He's his nose to the net. He's finished 2 checks. It's his second game. First game the other night in Buffalo, he played about 12.5 minutes. Was a -2, which isn't always good to be, but the coach said he liked what he saw. And do the Montreal Canadiens have enough depth up front? We know on the blue line they've got some added guys with Tenorti and Patterin and Allen sitting down the minors, Weaver not in the lineup. But will they have to move one of those young pieces to get a depth forward?
De La Rose has played in 3 World Juniors for Sweden. He was the captain of the last World Junior, just wrapped up in January. Here's Camilleri, pulls that puck down and then banks it hard off the boards. Jagr trips up Subban along the end boards as they search for the puck, and it's Markov with it. Good pass up to Galchenyuk, who leaves it for Gallagher. Gallagher cannot squeeze by Merrill, but he gets the puck deep into the corner. Now Camilleri, back for Marek Zidlitsky. Zidlitsky, who's known more as an offensive defenseman, but no goals for him in his last 20 games. Alexei Yevlin backs up, then throws it across to Gilbert. At center and in. Kristen Thomas dumps it in there. De La Rose, along with Harold. Eller in support. Took a look back at the point, trying to get it to Yevlin, and it comes to center and into the Montreal zone. Here's Price, well under his net, hard off the glass. And Gilbert moves it over to Alexei Yevlin. Back to center. And here is Gilbert back into the middle again. That bounces off the stick of De La Rose. And Jordan Tutu takes over from there. And he's hit hard by Gilbert. Canadians have been on the right side of many of the hits here so far tonight.
Well, they fell down 1-0 in this game, and as I mentioned, the one thing that you hate doing is losing games, and they've lost 2, and going into Boston tomorrow night, you know it's going to be a physical contest, so you want to practice and play it the way you're going to play tomorrow, and you might as well start it right tonight with physical play, and they've done that in this first period so far.
There's a chance for Havlat in tight, and Zajac is there as well. Puck goes into the corner. Shots are 10-3 in favor of the Canadians. Here's Pacioretty racing after that loose puck. In behind the net. Trying to get it away from Larson, and he does. Pacioretty using that frame to shield off the defenseman. Banks it back to the line for Gonchar. And here's David Desharnais now. Corrals the pass. Leaves it for Beaulieu. Havlat got just a piece and broke it up.
He didn't sell it enough. Desharnais has got to sell that he is absolutely cutting into the middle. And the minute Havlat lays his stick in that lane, that's when you drop it for the pinching down Beaulieu, and he just gave it a bit too early.
That one almost took a Montreal bounce in behind Kincaid, but he's back in his net. There's Dumont, and Crust working down low. Taken away by the Devils, worked up the boards by Merrill. Evelyn saw that coming, squeezed it, and they still get it out to center. Under 3 minutes to go now. Adam Henrique dug that one loose from Crust. And now it's Merrill again. Gomez gives it to Zidlinski. Tom Gilbert being watched there by Gomez. Evelyn with a lead pass up to Prust. And swept back down the ice by the Devils. Foot race here is Subban and Yager again. A turnover in front, and Camilleri was right there, and he shot it wide. There's Yager. Can't poke it free by Subban. Did a good job to get into the corner here, where Prust was waiting for it. And now it's Gallagher trying to flip it past Harold.
I don't think there's any coincidence that Andrei Markov and PK Subban are coming over the boards every time this line comes out with Camilleri, Yager, and Zubas.
Sent in front, loose puck, and there is PK. PK Subban gets it onto the stick of Placanitz, who goes near side for Gallagher. Gallagher, Galchenyuk shoots. PK with a great glove stop, and bodies all around him. Not a bad save by the 25-year-old kid making his first start in the Bell Center. He keeps it 1-0. Flash of the leather on Hockey Night in Canada.
A rugged customer in his own right, Jordan Tootoo. He likes the physical game. He'll dish it out, and he'll take it. He doesn't mind a good clean hit, and he gets a good one here from Gilbert, who steps up on him and catches him. That's the 15th hit that Montreal has thrown in the first period of this hockey game. Certainly, Dave, you mentioned it. They've had a physical edge to their game here. We'll see if that continues as the game moves on. Both these teams are not known for their physical play, so to speak. Montreal Canadiens by far have been the more aggressor in that area so far here in the first period.
Clean face-off win back to Subban. No lane to shoot, so he spins it around the boards just out of the reach of Desharnais. Ends up back in behind the Devils' net. Weiss came flying in there. Larson saw him coming, and now it's dug free by Desharnais. Out in front, trying to find Pacioretty. And Elias with a chance to clear it, and he does. Shelterian told you and I prior to the game that he was not overly disappointed with the effort against Buffalo despite the loss. But it is 2 straight losses on home ice against teams way down in the standings. There's a shot, and it's scooped up by Kincaid.
Well, I think his collarbone's good. He's made 2 glove saves. The last one he made before he went to the break was a beauty. And he makes another glove save there. And he's looked pretty calm in the net, you know, for a guy who hasn't played a lot. And in the Bell Center, which is what people will tell you, it's an exciting building to play in. No problems getting up for this one. And he gets an eye on it all the way through. And yeah, Michel Therrien, not upset with the losses, and he thought they should have won that game in Buffalo. And Roth, he gave a lot of credit to. But 90 attempts to the net, and they had over half of them blocked or missed the net. He wasn't happy about that.
There's that glove again by Kincaid, and another face-off coming up to his left.
You know, and as a coach, especially in this market, you got to be careful. Your reactions could create a groundswell. And I think since Michel Therrien has been here, he's done a really good job at pushing things down, suppressing things as opposed to igniting them. And you've got to be able to do that as a coach of the Canadiens. I think his players really respect him for that.
Here's Beaulieu, makes the puck at the far point, throws it in towards the net. They send it out in front, and Bernier's there to break it up. Adam Henry back and forth with Steve Bernier. He'll fire that in. Price comes out. Gets it to Gonchar. Moves it along. Gallagher waits for it. In for Galchenyuk. Slick hands. Gets it away to Thomas Placanitz, who's in there. Tripped up on his way in. And there is no call coming.
The bumble feet. You know, any time a forward doesn't look like he has an opportunity, oftentimes you'll lay the puck through the D and then try to split them, hoping to draw a penalty. Right here, bounces off the stick, get in through, see if he can go to the net, but feet aren't moving. And as he goes down, the referee looks at that more as just play to the net as opposed to a penalty. I tend to agree. Hasn't had a call, and Placanitz known to have feigned the opposite penalty in the past and has been under the scrutiny of the National Hockey League for doing such. Didn't get the benefit of the doubt there.
Subban with a shot. Rebound was lying there, and nobody could find it. And it's cleared by the Devils. Final 30 seconds now as PK is forced once again by Yager, who's been on him the last few shifts. Poked in there by De La Rose. Kincaid saw him coming, came out and played the puck. Held there by Eller. Put it in the corner with 10 seconds to go. Della rolls toward the net, out of the reach of Kincaid, and this is going to be back out to center ice. PK takes a look at the clock, and that will do it. Shots are 14-3 in favor of the Canadiens, but they are down 1-0 in the goal by Michael Camilleri. Well, coming up at the first intermission, Ron McLean and Don Cherry in the coach's corner. But first, here is George Stroumboulopoulos as we send you from the Bell Center to Hockey Central Control.
Welcome back. Our Budweiser Red Light scoreboard. You'll notice at the bottom, LA, a 4-2 win over the Lightning. Drew Doughty with the game-winning goal there. And of note, the Islanders and Bruins tied at 1. Remember, the Devils are trying to track down the Bees and climb into the playoff picture. Let's get you now for second period action. Dave Randorf, Gary Galley. Guys.
Thanks, David. As the puck has been dropped and we are underway here in the second period. 1-0. Here's Darnay. Drops it off for Pacioretty. His shot is handled easily again by Keith Kincaid, who made 14 saves in that first period. Gary, that is the 6th consecutive game now that the Devils have held the opposition to no goals in the first period.
Well, just a matter of fact, the shots that they're taking, they're just not enough shots for the New Jersey Devils, and they can win on 14-50 shots with Corey Schneider, but that's a lot of pressure to stick on the young guy Kincaid here at the Bell Center.
Just 23 first period goals for the Canadiens all season long. That is the fewest in the NHL. Looking for business to pick up here. Puck is bouncing around, almost came to the line, but Elias got it far side for Travis Zajac, and he'll dump it in there. Markov checks over both shoulders, looks around, and then moves it up the boards. Dale Weiss shovels it the rest of the way to center ice. And this is moved across to John Merrill. He'll send it back in there. Adam Henrique on the puck. Henrique gets it far side for Zidlinski, and that is snared by Price.
Well, they're 5-0-1 since January 19th, the New Jersey Devils are, and they only had 15 goals for in those 6 games played. So similar to Carey Price and what he's done, Corey Schneider's done a bang-up job to only allow 8 goals against in those last 6 games. And to put it into better perspective, in those 6 games, they were outshot 190-21. And in their last 4 wins, they've only had 64 shots on net. That's it. 15 a game. That's their target number to win hockey games in New Jersey. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, they haven't reached 20 shots on goal in their last 4.
And if you ask them why, it's efficient play. It's just a matter of being efficient, and that's what they're doing, finding ways to win, playing New Jersey style.
Here's a loose puck in front for Henrique. He shoots, and that is deflected off the stick of Gonchar. Gomez tries to dig it free, moves it up the boards, and it's skated out by Christian Thomas. Thomas, the former Oshawa general, in there against Merrill, and the Devils are away to center. Here is Gomez now. Scott Gomez drops it off for Henrique. Henrique trying to go wide on Boley, who stays with him and then pokes the puck off of his stick to the line, held by Fraser, and his shot well wide of the mark, met near side by Harold. Harold steps in and then drops it off. Here's Yager back towards the net. Puck is loose, and Price is down, and he's got it.
There's a guy who's been around a long time. We got 2 elder statesmen in this game, the 43-year-old to be in a few days, Yager, and of course Gonchar, 40 plus as well, and that's amazing in itself. Injured for 3 games earlier. He's got 2 goals in his last 3 games, and there's a lot of trade talk swirling around Jaromir Jagr, and that trade talk is filtering right through Montreal and the Montreal Canadiens, who people think are going to be out looking in search of that top 6 forward and someone to help their power play, which has not been anywhere near where they'd like it to be.
As mentioned, he'll turn 43 in 8 days, a week tomorrow. What do you think? Would you, Adam?
Well, I think if you're out of the picture, if you're New Jersey and you can get a young defenseman or somebody you can get out of Montreal, draft pick, I think it's something that New Jersey will certainly look at. They're going to be in a rebuild. I mean, the fact that in order to make the playoffs, and 92 points is that magic number where over the last 5-6 years, that's kind of the watershed mark. And for New Jersey, in the last 30 games, they would have to go 20-10 to get to that 92 mark, and that's going to be tough to do. So at some point, as Lou Lamoriello says, we take this 24 hours at a time. We're not looking too far ahead. We're not looking behind. 24 hours at a time before we make decisions, and they'll make that decision when the time comes.
Yager, by the way, is now 1 goal away from tying Phil Esposito for 5th all time. Sitting right now on 716 goals. Dale Weiss makes a move at center ice, and he steps in, goes across to Pacioretty, leaves it for Gilbert. Gilbert's shot, and that is stopped by Kincaid.
That was a much more difficult save than it looked like. It looked like one that went right into the breadbasket, but that thing rattled around his pants here as Montreal Canadiens cruise into the zone, and good net drive and a little butt back by Pacioretty to Gilbert, and he laid this into the net, and of course Desharnais does a good job of getting there, maybe a second late and not in the lane to block his view, and that allowed Kincaid to get a look at it right into his body, and he did a great job of not bleeding any rebounds.
Undrafted, a free agent by the Devils out of Union. He spent 2 years there, was in Albany last year where he had 24 wins. Here he is on the big stage on a Saturday night in Montreal. Puck goes into the corner. Yemlin first to it. Here's Gilbert down. Bounced away from Dumont, who has to circle back to get it. And that pass goes back up to center ice. Tutu has turned it over, and Seikac has it bouncing around on it, so Green took it from him. Nice pass up to Ruutu. Here's Ruutu. His shot is handled by Price. Did not get all of it. Here is Seikac. Chips it in there, and Price goes in after it against Peter Harold. Fraser's back there as well. He's given a shove, and Dumont leaves it for Seikac. Cuts in the middle and overskated the puck. Had it taken away. Tuomo Ruutu up for Tutu. And in.
Hey, if you're a New Jersey Devil right now, tell me what it's like to get up on the bench and you got Lou Lamoriello, Scott Stevens, and Adam Oates standing behind you. How daunting is that?
Pete DeBoer relieved of his duties on Boxing Day. Here's Gallagher with a shot and another stop by Kincaid. That one on Brendan Gallagher.
Good job of boxing out, and that's one thing Scott Stevens will bring to the table as a coach of these defensemen, is he will work with them, as Montreal is really tough to contain down low. They do a lot of little cycles and switching around, and good job by the New Jersey defense. And the one thing he's talked about, Scott Stevens, is retrievals and exits. That's the one thing they've worked on a ton. Reading the offensive forecheck, that's another thing, and clogging the neutral zone. Go figure.
Subban threw it into the middle there, and Galchenyuk couldn't get a shot away. The Devils are back out to center.
He clogged the neutral zone all on his own. When you came through that neutral zone with Scott Stevens, you better have your head on a swivel.
Eric Zidlinsky, his pass up to Elias. Elias is 2 games away from 1,200 in his career. Thomas Buchanan is trying to retain possession of that puck. And now he's got it back. Here's Buchanan. It's a 3-on-2 for the Canadiens into the line. De La Rose wrist shot kicked out by Kincaid. Rebound into the corner. Right to Zidlinsky. John Merrill from Oklahoma City. Out to center. And this rolls into the Montreal zone where Gonchar has it. Sergei Gonchar battling for that puck down low. Another 40-something star in this game. He'll be 41 in April.
We got the night off the other night. It was a tough schedule with 6 games in a very short period of time, and Michel Therrien said he had a talk with Gonchar, and they both came to the conclusion that was going to be a game they were going to give him a rest, and I think it's a smart idea.
And Gonchar takes a look as he goes back to get this puck. Here comes Jacob De La Rose, who told David Amber in the intermission, I don't want to go back to the minors. Sends it in there. Beaulieu up against Larson. Larson turned it over there to Eller, who read the play, and back to the line. Here's Beaulieu. Fakes the shot, tries to step in. Yager cut him off, and he throws it around the boards, and that is intercepted by Larson. Here's Eller. Camilleri rubbed him out. Eller still in there, but the Devils come away. Little bank feed up to Yager. Yager, look at that pass. Camilleri shoots, and Price, who's seen that shot before, makes the stop. Zubers keeps it in there. What a pass by Yager. Here's Camilleri. To Yager, back to Camilleri. Tries to cut it in front, and Zubers had his stick tied up. Pacioretty now flips it ahead and then races in there, but Harold took it away. Yager quickly back up to Josephson. Josephson into the corner, throws it back to the line. There's Harold. His shot reaches the net. Price makes the save. Puck is loose, and it's swept in behind the net. Josephson first to the puck. Skates it out. Desharnais with a stick breaks it up, and the Canadians get it back up to center, just barely. A couple of good forays there for the Devils into the offensive zone. Peter Harold waits for things to set up. And this one goes all the way down the ice, and it will be icing against the Devils. Well, the 2015 ICC Cricket World Cup begins February 13th. Watch all matches live and in HD. Contact your local service provider or visit getcricket.ca.
A couple of big plays there by the Montreal Canadiens. One a save by Price, and the other one a great neutral zone defensive play by Christian Thomas. Another young player in their lineup that, you know, you got to make sure it's not just about production. You got to know how to play the system. You got to do it well. And in the times where you are in the best defensive position, you got to be able to thwart your opponent. Good job by Christian Thomas.
P.A. Perisseau remains out of the lineup with a concussion. There's Markov with a wrist shot. Michael Bourneval, a healthy scratch. And the Canadians still down by 1 on this Saturday night at the Bell Center. You are watching Hockey Night in Canada.
Jaromir Jagr getting a little attention from the equipment manager, rubbing the thumbs in his gloves. I heard him, you kind of read his lips. You go, I got no hands tonight. Well, I'll tell you what, you got a set of hands, my friend. Behind the back, no look past the Camilleri. Do you think that was a fluke? You got something else coming. He knew exactly where he was, and he put it right on his tape for the scoring chance. And here comes down Christian Thomas into the slot, and he just disrupts Zubris enough to stick through his legs and onto the stick shaft to thwart him from getting a good opportunity from right in the slot on Carey Price. Good young defensive play from young Christian Thomas.
And this is 12th NHL game, 9th this season. 1 week ago against the Capitals, the matinee at the Bell Center, he had 6 shots on goal. Still looking for his first NHL point. Got a ways to go to catch that at 933. Zidlinsky trying to hold the line over there. They feed it back into the corner for Adam Henrique. Henrique, the former Memorial Cup champion in Windsor, recently had his number 14 retired there. Blocker stopped by Price. In behind the net, here's Bernier now. Bernier. Gonchar's watching him. Cuts to his left, cuts to his right, goes back to Merrill. Merrill feeds it back down, and just out of the reach of Gomez. Zidlinsky to Gomez. Crowd continues to give it to him. Here's Henrique now trying to cut to the net. Got a shot away, and Price ready for that. Here's Havlat now. Strong shift here by the Devils. Nothing fancy, but effective. Here's Gomez again. Trying to dance away from Beaulieu. Gets it out in front, and the shot goes just wide off the stick of Elias. Net by Green. Sent back in. Around the boards it goes as the Devils complete changes here. Here's Havlat, and it bounced off of his stick. Larson has it back towards the net, and the tip by Elias just wide. Canadians are hemmed big time here. Here's Pacioretty, chops at it, and gets it just far enough, but they're not going to be able to complete a full change. Now they do. They're going to hustle, though. Green's back inside the line, and he's turned it over. Buchanan's up ahead. Galchenyuk stepping in across. Gallagher. Oh, what a stop by Kincaid. A beautiful glove stop. Puck is still loose. Gallagher jams away. Here's Buchanan, and it goes between his skates, and it is chipped out. Keith Kincaid, how you like me so far? He is standing on his head tonight. Becoming a big part of the story. He has made 20 saves, none nicer than that. Here's Subban, pulls it off the boards. Crowd trying to get into it. Here's Galchenyuk now. All the way around the edge, takes the shot, and it hits Larson in the skates. Jagr, near side for Dainis Zubris. Zubris takes a shot, and it's deflected up and out of play.
Sometimes you just overthink it. Green's going to overthink it. Look at all the Canadians changing. You mentioned how exhausted they were. This was a 4-on-2 for the New Jersey Devils. Gonchar does a great and causes Green to turn it over, and that sends the 2-on-1 in. Galchenyuk to Gallagher. What a pass, and what a save by Kincaid. Gallagher, of course, snake-bitten a little bit, and he's had a couple of good opportunities tonight. But he has not been able to beat Keith Kincaid. What a bad turnover by Green. And sometimes when you got that 4-on-2, you expect the defense to back off, but Gonchar didn't. He stayed up tight to Green. He stayed in his lane, and he forced Green to try to make a play that really wasn't a good high-percentage play, and that turned the puck over. And once it turned over, you had Galchenyuk coming off the bench, off to the races.
And PK Subban was clipped right off the draw. He went down quickly as he makes his way to the bench.
Right off the face-off, we're going to have a look at our first penalty of the game as Zubris reaches in to try to pick up the stick of Subban, and it misses it, and up it comes, and it catches Subban. Looks to be in the jaw area. Now, whether he's cut or not, and it looks like he is as the gauze comes out in the lip area. You see the blood on the gauze. So that'll probably draw 4 minutes and an opportunity for the Montreal Canadiens. Montreal's power play, 25th in the league. It's a bit better at home. It ranks around 14th. In the last 4 games, no power play goals, 0 for 10. So it hasn't been really firing on all cylinders. But the New Jersey Devils, who you think would have this amazing penalty killing, they really don't. They've struggled in the penalty killing department, so we'll see if Montreal can't find a way to climb back in this game due to an inadvertent stick by Zubris in the face of PK Subban. He'll have to exit. He's bleeding, so they're going to make him go off. He wants to stay on. But you can't sell that you're cut and you're bleeding and you're hurt and then stay on the ice. So they'll have to get the bleeding stopped, and any blood that's on his sweater will have to be cleaned up before he can come back onto the ice.
They'll want to get him out there quickly. He leads the team in power play goals. And you're right, this power play has gone cold. 0 for 2 the other night against the Sabres in their last outing. They control off the draw. Gonchar gets it to Pacioretty. Max Pacioretty walks in, leads into the corner for Desharnais. Here is Gonchar. Out to Desharnais, quickly into the corner for Markov. They've got Gallagher parked right in front. Andre Markov takes a look, goes across. Pacioretty with a one-timer. And Kincaid comes across and makes the save. And here comes PK.
Mike Camilleri made a living off that top of the circle hash mark spot, and then he made a living off of Markov finding him there. And he's exactly going to do that. Right through the seam. And Pacioretty, it's not one you can stop. You got to unload it. PK Subban will join this power play now, as the referee had explained to him, you can't stay on, you were cut, you got to go off and get cleaned off, and he was. Good job by the trainer. And they get him on the ice.
And a good face-off win by the Devils, allowing Larson to fire it down the ice. 30 seconds gone and a double minor call against David Zubris. Markov over center, fires it in there, slowed up by Kincaid. Subban first to the puck, gets it to Gallagher. Banks it back to Markov. He'll walk the line, surveying, taking a look. Here's Markov, wide, shoots right on. Stopped by Kincaid, and the rebound bounces all the way to the line. Here's Markov again. Throws it into the corner for Max Pacioretty. Pacioretty to David Desharnais. Back to Desharnais. He'll go down low. Pacioretty in tight. Back up top. Markov. Subban across. Pacioretty now spinning around. No shots. There's a drive, and that's tipped wide into the corner. Subban on it. Throws it across again. It's tipped. And Desharnais has to pick it off the wall. Throws it back to Markov. Markov. PK Subban to Markov. Back to PK. Markov shoots, scores! Power play goal came in the first 2 minutes. They'll remain with a man advantage, and it's a tie game.
The hard around that got dumped in, entering into the zone, Keith Kincaid could not stop it. It wasn't terribly hard, and he's one he should have had, but he didn't get it. And when he didn't get it, in came PK Subban. He tracked it down. And look who's in front. Brendan Gallagher, just like Camilleri on the first tip. You're going to see right here, this puck is going to nick off the shin pad of Max Pacioretty. It's going to hit the shin pad, it looks like, and find the short side on Keith Kincaid. We've almost seen 2 identical goals at both ends. The tip by Camilleri, and what looks like to me a puck that may have glanced off the shin pad of Pacioretty of the shot by Markov.
Much needed power play goal for the Canadians. They tied up on their 25th shot of the night. And they're announcing that the goal goes to Markov.
Maybe he didn't get it, but
Plekanec walks in and a hard drive gobbled up there by Kincaid.
It looked like it went off his shin pad, and sometimes it's hard to tell whether the puck skews off a little bit. And we'll look at the reaction of Pacioretty. Good job by Gallagher in front, and right there, it looked like it hit and went up a little bit. Hard to tell. Pacioretty will know if this hit him or not. Right there. Either way, I don't think either player really cares. It's a goal. It's in the back of the net. It was a good blast by Markov. His last goal came just before Christmas.
Markov from Subban, who's got the puck right now. Minute and a half to go on this second power play. Into the corner they go. That's thrown back to Markov. Markov in tight, quickly moves up to Galchenyuk. His shot, puck is loose, rebound, and Plekanec had the whole net, but he was in too tight. Fired it wide. Now he goes hard in there against Merrill, jars the puck free. Fraser's backboard, and his backhand knocked down by Subban. What a shot! Eller scores! Great pass, great finish, 2-1 Montreal.
Canadians will be thrilled they got PK Subban back on the ice. He's been a direct result of both goals. He got in on the puck, and he set up Markov, and then now he's going to set up Eller. Markov, I mentioned, hadn't scored until before Christmas, and for Lars Eller on a very poor clear right there. A terrible clear, and PK Subban on a backhand pass slides it to Eller in the same position that Pacioretty was in. He hasn't had a sniff. No points in his last 11 games. It's been since January 17th since he has lit the lamp, and right there a beauty shot by Lars Eller, and the Canadians have taken advantage of a tough penalty on the New Jersey Devils in Zubris to take the lead here 2-1.
There was a high stick up on Subban, and he assisted on both power play goals, 2 goals in 59 seconds, and this game has turned around. And the Bell Center is alive for the first time tonight. Eller buries it to make it 2-1 on Hockey Night.
He drew the penalty, a 4-minute one at that, on Danish Zubris, and then he quickly took part in setting up 2 goals. Here a one-timer. Watch the stick of Green. I thought originally it might have went off the shin pad, but it hits the stick prior to Pacioretty, and that's what sent the puck upwards, so my mistake there. And then what a shot here by Lars Eller as he ripped that home, and it's been a while since he scored a goal, and that one's going to be a huge weight coming off his back. And PK Subban, he's such a lively player, an energy player. He's always engaged with the guys on the other team. He is one of the better trash talkers on the Montreal Canadiens. And then he brings it. He comes to play, and he's one of those high energy, like I said, guys that likes to really entertain the crowd, and they love him here in Montreal.
He picked up his 200th career point last Saturday night, and he's got 2 tonight. He's creeping up to his career high of 43, which was last year. He's only 8 points away from that, with lots of games left. 2-1 now. Montreal now shooting the Devils 27-10. Here comes Jagr. Carries the puck in, and his pass goes off a skate and all the way back down the ice. 7 minutes to go in the second. Merrill turns the corner, and waiting there to break it up is Gallagher. Jagr back there on the back check, helps out as Zidlitsky tries the left side to Zubris. That's Zubris, who played parts of 3 seasons here in Montreal. That pass out of his reach, and Price banks it off of the end boards. Carey Price, who has beaten on New Jersey's first shot in the first minute and a half of the game. He redirects right in front of him. Nothing since.
2 goals tonight, 2 deflections by the New Jersey Devils.
Here's Desharnais now. Picks that puck free, gives it to Pacioretty, who cuts into the middle. Pacioretty now back to the line for Gilbert. Gilbert's shot goes wide off of the inboards. Chopped up the sideboards, now picked out of the corner by Pacioretty. Watched by Zajac. Back Pacioretty, skates it free, back to Yedlin. His drive, tipped by Weiss, but tipped wide. Here's David Desharnais. Desharnais taking a look, goes back to Gilbert. Gilbert sends it around. Weiss jars it free, now he's got it back. Zajac pins Pacioretty momentarily, but he gets the pass away to Yedlin. His wrist shot tipped just wide of the far post. Did not miss by much. Canadians really building on the momentum now. Yedlin with a pass into the middle. Thomas trying to tip it up to his forehand there, and it goes back into the Montreal zone. Josephson punished by Yedlin. Here is Thomas into the middle, looking for De La Rose, who bats it in. Kincaid sees a couple of red jerseys headed his way, so he will hang on for the face-off. Lars Eller with a power play goal past Kincaid, and it is 2-1 Montreal.
Welcome back to the Bell Center. What a great time for the Habs power play to come alive. Back-to-back power play goals. They have a 2-1 lead, one of 11 games on tap tonight. Budweiser Red Light scoreboard, a couple finals in the books. Nashville beats the Rangers. The Kings beat the Lightning, and look at that, the Leafs with a 2-0 lead over Edmonton, of course, trying to snap off that 11-game losing streak. Dave, Gary, back to you.
Montreal not looking ahead to tomorrow, but the rest of us can. Montreal will be at Boston tomorrow night. Right now, they are in a 1-1 tie at the TD Garden with the New York Islanders. And Boston is picking up momentum. Going to get back into it. Tuukka Rask net tonight, making his 10th consecutive start. The backup is Malcolm Subban. Here's Buchanan. His drive goes off a leg.
Tomorrow is the final day to nominate your community to be the next Kraft Hockeyville. Visit khv2015.ca by February 8th. Brought to you by Kraft Peanut Butter.
Nobody looks ahead in this league, but if you are going to look ahead, and there's the matchup for tomorrow, Boston-Montreal.
He'll be there.
The Subban brothers. Will PK be firing at his brother? That will be the question that will be answered tomorrow when we head to Boston, along with a lot of other ones between those two teams. I was part of that rivalry for 4 years as a Bruin, and I got to tell you, some of the most memorable games I've played in my career were those Boston-Montreal matchups, especially at the Montreal Forum. And every time they play, it is something else. So to have the Subban brothers playing against each other, if they were to go head-to-head, with just if, it would add a lot to it. But the Boston Bruins, I would imagine we'll see Tuukka Rask.
He does not have a good record overall against the Canadians. Carey Price, by the way, is 3-0 this season against them. Here's Bernier. Peels back, goes back to the line for Merrill. They'll put that one into the corner. Adam Henry can't cut towards the net. It's taken away by Sekach. And he's trying to bank it around the defenseman Merrill, who made a good play to stop that. Now open ice for Marek Zidlicky, who's got some help. Zidlicky winds and shoots, and Yedlin luckily got his stick in the lane because Zidlicky can fire.
He waited to see if he had Bernier with him, but Bernier had to hold to stay on side. So Zidlicky kind of waited too long, and then it was a great stick play by Yedlin to get in the lane. Again, here comes the pass, and Zidlicky, watch, he's going to look over right there. And when he takes that time to look over, it's a second too long, and Yedlin gets the stick in play. As Carey Price at this point only taken 10 shots in this hockey game, and you mentioned this to Michel Therrien, and you kind of got a sideways answer, and I appreciate you asking him in the first place if he thought who he was going to start tomorrow, and if he didn't have a lot of shots tonight, and then you're kind of looking ahead as it might play itself out, but boy, you took one on the chin there, Dave.
I just said, have you made up your mind who's going to play tomorrow night? I didn't ask him to tell me who was going to play tomorrow night. Not that new.
Look at Steve Bernier, and he's been one of the hottest Devils. 6 goals in the last 8 games. And in the last 8 games, his shooting percentage is 36% almost. That's incredible. And he doesn't score them the fancy way. This is a guy who scores them around the net, tip-ins, banging away at rebounds. Last night in Toronto, he had 1 go off his skate. Nice little turn of the skate to deflect it into the net. Hard-working guy who's having it pay off for him a little bit right now.
9 goals in the season, 6 in his last 8 games. A former first-round pick of the San Jose Sharks. New Jersey is his 15th. Allen sent around the boards. Patrick Elias chops at that, but can't get it past PK, who's got a couple of helpers tonight. They've added an assist for the first goal, by the way, to David Desharnais as well. Havlat on his backhand, gets it to center ice, pulled down by PK. Well, to step in over the line, and then send it around. Back towards the net, that hits Zajac right in front. Blast there from Plekanec. Galchenyuk back in there for Thomas Plekanec. Galchenyuk with a long look at center ice. Whoa, there's a turnover again. They're in. Great stop, rebound, and they're going to get a hold of that puck. Kincaid somehow hangs on, and now Zajac is giving it to Galchenyuk in behind the Devils' net.
Zajac not known for his fisticuffs, and neither is Galchenyuk, but the two of them were pretty upset with one another. And you saw the Green turnover, which led to the 2-on-1 and the great save on Gallagher. And you know what? Here's another turnover to Gallagher. It's like he's wearing a New Jersey jersey. Larson turns around. He tries to give a little shovel pass to Larson, to Zajac, who's the centerman down low. And you see a lot of teams make this little shovel pass, okay? It's a very effective pass, besides putting the puck up the boards. But man, he laid it right onto the tape of Gallagher. And how often do you see a double leg stack? Keith Kincaid with the retro double leg stack and a little help by Andy Green. And they keep it under the net on Brendan Gallagher again. As we look at the penalties behind the net, both guys will go to the box for 2 minutes. We'll have a little bit of 4-on-4 hockey. But Scott Stevens cannot be happy with the way some of these turnovers have come off the sticks of their own defensemen when they haven't been under pressure and given Montreal great scoring opportunities.
4-on-4 here, the final 3 minutes of this second period. Period in which Montreal has scored twice on the power play. A power play that had been cold entering the evening. Everything is tonight. Chilly day here, Cal. Here is Gomez trying to step in around Yevlin.
Can't be soft. The Canadians.
You walked over here with
chilly.
no winter coat. Here is Merrill with a drive, and he fires that one wide, stick side on Price. And that one goes all the way down the ice. Icing against.
I wouldn't attempt that in Winnipeg. I'll tell you that. But yeah, no, I think, you know, you look at a team like New Jersey. They played last night in Toronto. They had the 4-1 win. They're coming into Montreal. 2 tough buildings to come into. Montreal Canadiens know that, you know, New Jersey played last night in the first period, a very physical period for Montreal. They were down 1-0. But a power play, a 4-minute one at that, led to 2 power play goals by the Montreal Canadiens. And now they've got that 2-1 lead with about 2 minutes left here in the second.
Just a 1-goal lead, but the Devils not a real offensive machine here. And they're facing arguably the best goalie in the game right now, certainly one of 2. Here comes David Desharnais stepping in there. Desharnais tries to cut to the net around Harold, who hung with him long enough, and then he rubs him out along the end boards, but a penalty has been drawn by David Desharnais as Price skates to the bench, and the Canadians are going to get another power play here.
Hooking call. And this comes off the stutter step by David Desharnais. It's one of the hardest things for a defenseman to do is when you're coming down the wing and you got a forward who's coming down the wing with speed. He jams on the brakes, but tells you stand up, and then he continues to go. He never really comes to a full stop. And that means Harold has to reach in, and once he does, there's your penalty. In 50 seconds, the Montreal Canadiens will have a 4-on-3. They've already got 2 power play goals already. PK Subban, Andrei Markov will man the blue line again. See if they can't make it 3 for 3. With a 2-goal cushion going in at the end of this period.
0 for 10 in their previous 4 games. 2 for 2, as you mentioned tonight, on 6 shots. Here's Markov, controls the puck off the draw, gets it to Subban. Subban skates away from Elias. 4-on-3 look for the Canadiens. Here's Markov. The Desharnais steps in, back up top. One-timer from PK, and it drifts wide. Subban across to Markov. Over to Pacioretty. Pacioretty back up top to Andre Markov. Here is PK. They'll change places. Pacioretty now takes a look, backs up, down low. Here's Desharnais. Pacioretty. Subban's loaded here. Pacioretty with a wrist shot, and he fired it high over the net. Markov walks into the corner and leaves it for Subban in the final minute of this second period. PK goes back to Markov. Quickly to Pacioretty. Pacioretty to Markov. His wrist shot intercepted and tapped down the ice. The original two penalties are now over, so it's a 5-on-4 now for the remainder of this power play. And then it's offside entering the line.
And this wasn't Max Pacioretty that was offside. It was the player coming off the Montreal Canadian bench was not aware. And when you step out of the gate, you're stepping out of the gate offside. And you have to watch where the puck is, because if it's coming up the ice, you're better to stay on the bench and not come onto the ice and allow the play to go onside first. Unfortunately, Thomas Plekanec stepped off the bench, stepped off right into being offside. Good play by Carey Price to get the puck up quickly.
So the faceoff comes all the way down into the Montreal zone with 43 seconds remaining, and Price has to make a stop there. Josephson surrounded by Plekanec and Subban, but taking more time off the clock.
30 to go on the clock, 30 seconds.
And you just heard how much time's left. Here comes Galchenyuk with a head of steam, drops it off for Plekanec. Into the corner he goes. Back to the line, they work it at Gonchar. Gonchar walks the line, gives it to Plekanec. One-timer, just missed. Rebound, PK. Plekanec, one-timer, scores! And they are hot tonight. The power play strikes again, and it's 3-1 Canadiens.
The Canadiens inadvertently go offside on a kind of a bit of a brain cramp, and it almost cost them. Here's the face-off after they had to come all the way down to their end. What a save by Carey Price. It's only the 11th shot of the game. Big glove save. That allowed them to come down. Gonchar feeds Plekanec. It's a wide shot that goes off the back wall back to Subban. And what does he do? Right back to where it started, to number 14, Thomas Plekanec. I mentioned the fact that there was a few guys struggling. Gallagher, Plekanec, Eller were three guys. Two of them have scored here tonight. That is good news for the Montreal Canadiens. And PK Subban with a hat trick of assists, all in the power play here in the second period.
Price makes one more save, juggled it, and then flipped it out of his glove. And now we got a whole mess right in the Canadiens' crease with half a second remaining on the clock. Subban with his third point of the night, 3 assists. Gonchar, the other helper, on Thomas Plekanec's 14th goal of the season and his third power play marker.
Well, Ruutu, a thorn in the side on a lot of occasions, will drive to the net, and he did just that. And it was a bit of a kerfuffle inside the net as Tom Gilbert does a good job of boxing him out as he tried to drive Gilbert down, and that's what upset Gilbert. And he was having a conversation with the referee that sometimes it's not so much that they're running into the goalie, but on a frozen puck, you drive a player into the goaltender, and it can have equally the same amount of damage. We saw Pacioretty drive Calvert of Columbus into the chest of Carey Price a few weeks back in Columbus, Dave. You and I did that game, I think, and Carey Price hurt his back and missed the game because of it. So those kind of plays around the net, goaltenders don't get a lot of room to move, and offensive players can sometimes do that. The faceoff will come outside due to the fact that Ruutu did drive him into the net, which knocked the net off.
And that's been a hot topic here this week as Michel Therrien's made his concerns public about people hitting his goalie. But right now, he's happy with a 2-goal lead. 3 power play goals by the Canadiens. Coming up the second intermission, Saturday's headlines with Elliot Friedman and George Stroumboulopoulos. Montreal up by 2 on Hockey Night in Canada.
Welcome back to Montreal. Habs leading 3-1 through 40 minutes. One of 11 games on tap tonight in the National Hockey League. A couple finals in place as we check out the Budweiser red light scoreboard. The Kings knock off the Tampa Bay Lightning as well. Nashville slide past the Rangers. And look at that. Toronto, a 3-0 lead on the Oilers, trying to snap off that 11-game losing streak. Dave Randorf, Gary Galley getting set for the third period. Gentlemen.
Well, the Devils come in with a 3-game win streak, but they're down by 2 in a period in the second where the Canadians really turned it around with 3 power play goals. PK putting on a show, but they forced a lot of turnovers, didn't they?
Well, I think there were self-inflicted turnovers by the New Jersey Devils, and when you do these kind of turnovers like Andy Green just did, and that caused the 2-on-1, your goalie's got to make some big saves here, which he did on 2 occasions. Here's one by Larson. And what this does, it just gives your opponent momentum. It gives them some real positive things to build off. And there's the one by Fraser where he dumps it right onto the stick of Subban, and it comes right across to Eller and in the back of your net. These are uncharacteristic, self-inflicted turnovers by the New Jersey Devils that you're just not going to get away with against the Montreal Canadiens.
And PK with 3 assists tonight. This is the 3rd time this season that Montreal has scored 3 power play goals in a game. They did it in this building earlier against Philly, and they did it last time at Columbus in the middle of January. And they are 3 for 3 tonight. And the puck is dumped into the Devils zone in behind the net, guarded by Keith Kincaid tonight. Here's Subban back towards the net looking for the tip. And it bounces back to Pacioretty. Larson taken away by Weiss. Weiss puts it back, waiting for it is Desharnais. Gomez forces him and puts it up the boards. Markov steps up to keep it in there, and he does. Pacioretty towards the net. Kincaid makes the stop. And that may have hit Desharnais in front. Back out to center, and wanting to get back in there is Weiss. And he... little toe drag move drew a couple guys offside.
Well, they're down 3-1, but it's none of this is the fault of their goaltender Keith Kincaid, as he's made a number of acrobatic saves. And here's a little tricky one here as Montreal throws this to the net. We talked about the coach wanting more pucks to the net, and there's Desharnais with the tip, and that rattled around Kincaid and fell out of harm's way. Montreal's had a field day in the Metropolitan Division so far this year, as they're 13-2-1 versus the Metro, and tonight a 3-1 lead here in the 3rd.
Christian Thomas on that loose puck, trying to get it away from John Merrill. They throw it back there, and it's met on the backhand by Gonchar. Back out to center ice. Here is Gonchar. Both he and Yager in the game tonight. The only remaining active NHLers to have scored a goal here in the Bell Center and the old Montreal Forum. You know you've been around a long time when. Back out to center ice. This is gathered in by Havlat. Havlat spins away from Delarose, throws it in front, and Eliash's stick was tied up down low by Beaulieu. Zidlinsky puts it across to Fraser. His wrist shot angled away there by Price. Back into the corner where it's taken out by Eller, who flips this one up in the air and down. Thomas puts it in there, and the Canadians will change. Lars Eller talking to David Amber about this team's ability to finish in the 3rd period when they have the lead. 20-2 this season. Here's Plekanec, gains the zone, snaps it in there, and Kincaid once again makes the save.
Jaromir Jagr, the oldest player in the National Hockey League, did light the lamp 3 times in one game, and he did it against his old team, the Philadelphia Flyers. He's still got a great set of hands. We saw that earlier in the game on his back pass to Cavallari behind the back, and he's a going concern every time he's on the ice. He's a big body. I recall playing against him in the Pittsburgh days. He's so hard to knock off the puck, so strong on the puck.
Another save made by Kincaid. You know, that hat trick, Gary, he told the media after the game that he had brand new skates that morning right out of the box. Didn't break him in, just laced him up. He said he was glad he did it.
You know what? There's a lot of players who do that.
Did they really?
I'm surprised. I was like that as well. When I got my skates out of the box, lace them up, and away you go. I love the feel of new skates. And there are some guys who like to wear them 4 or 5 times before they bring them into a game. And everybody's different, but some guys can throw on equipment brand new and go with it. And he's one of those guys, and it's a good way to be because you never let your equipment mess with you.
He was also surprised to hear that Gordie Howe didn't do it. He said, I'm the oldest? Because I like scoring hat tricks, but I don't like the old guy part.
A great feature by Elliott on Gordie Howe. I loved watching that. And if that doesn't bring a tear to your eye watching those guys talking about Gordie, I don't know what will.
Larson takes a drive wide of the net. Yes, indeed. If you have not seen it, did not see it on our pregame show, go on to the Sportsnet website. Special night in Saskatoon last night. John Merrill up from behind his own net. Zidlinsky goes across the ice, and then it's met and skated in there by Russo. Gets it in. Here's a chance. Scores! On the backhand, it is buried by Jacob Josephson, and it's a one-goal game.
Well, the fourth line for the New Jersey Devils is going to strike here. Josephson, a real adept skater. He's got great speed, very powerful. It's kind of a bounce through the neutral zone and a redirect from the boards right out to Josephson as he's flying down the outside. What a great play. Carry it to the middle, drop it to him. He goes inside out and beats Carey Price on the glove side. It's a location on Carey Price that we see a lot of goals go in on. Over 30% of the goals allowed by Carey Price go in that one location. And both goals tonight, I think, have found their way on that one side.
Josephson with just his third goal of the season at no points in his last 5. And it's a one-goal game, 3-2 on their 14th shot of the game. Merrill trying to dig that puck free. Sekach pins it, takes a look, goes back to Gilbert. Gilbert down low. Here is Brandon Prust. Prust up high. Yevlin takes a look, stab shot, and a save by Kincaid. Angles it off into the corner, and they'll reset over on the near side. Hustling after it, Zidlinsky. Sekach and Josephson battle for it in the corner. Dumont to Yevlin, his drive, hits a skate, backhander in front, intercepted by Merrill, and the pass out to Tutu, and they're out. Jordan Tutu hit by Yevlin, and that's going to draw a penalty against Alexei Yevlin. Interference call against Yevlin, and the Devils get their first power play of the night.
Couple of hard licks. We saw one by Gilbert in the first period on Jordan Tutu, and now this one by Yemlin. And again, is this a time in the game where you want to take this kind of risk? When the puck gets dumped by you, you got maybe a split 1.5 seconds to kind of bump your guy. And once it goes by that, you can bump him, but can you actually body check him like that? I don't know. Not in the game right now. The referees are watching that. And Yemlin takes an ill-advised penalty after a goal by New Jersey to make it 3-2. Now the New Jersey Devils will go on to the power play, and a power play that is third in the National Hockey League on the road, running at about 23%. So it's something it's been good for them on the road. It has struggled at home, and they'll see if they can't lock this game up here in the next 2 minutes or less.
They are 4 for the last 9 in their last 3 road games. So yeah, that is good. And Gomez is settling in to take this drive. He's got Yager on his right, Bernier on his left. Camilleri batting one of the points along with Merrill, who's got the puck now. John Merrill. Devils trying to tie this up. Here's Gomez down low. Steve Bernier back to Scott Gomez. Gomez. Yager's in the high slot. Scott Gomez, little tip, and the puck is sent down by Pacioretty.
The Canadians have a very solid penalty kill, and it's been solid all year long. It's been 5 or better in the league. Last few games they've struggled a little bit. Because they're not scoring, you can't afford to have your penalty killing allowing goals.
Here's a chance for Prust trying to find that thing, and it was in his skates and he couldn't break away. Montreal has just 2 short-handed goals this season, both by Thomas Plekanec. And that is offside at the Montreal blue line. Well, tune in to music's biggest night, the 57th annual Grammy Awards, tomorrow at 8 on City.
You got 12 shots on net after 2 periods, and you're 29% on the faceoffs. That's the New Jersey Devils in the first 2 periods. That's really tough. You're losing the puck 70% of the time, and they just lost this one clean on the power play. Those aren't good numbers.
That tip slowed the puck up and allows the Devils to get it back down ice. Subban hard around the boards, met by Havlat. He contains, but Subban joins the battle again in the corner. Elias is there as well. Here's Markov. And lots of time and space to lift this one down the length to the ice. Over a minute gone now, this Devils power play. Travis Zajac, he'll step in and shovel it in there. Price stops it up for Gilbert, and Havlat takes over. Havlat back to Marek Zidlinsky. Travis Zajac. Zidlitsky. Elias winds, and then it's blocked right in front by Gilbert. His stick breaks, while the Canadians hammer it down the ice, and Gilbert's able to get to the bench.
Good job by Gonchar. If you're going to clear the puck, clear it like a rocket launcher and get it up off that glass so no one can stop it. He saw Gilbert's stick snap. Good hard exit out of the zone by Gonchar.
Gomez in there against his old teammate, Andrei Markov. Yemlin about to step out of the box, and this will do it. So the Canadians kill it off. New Jersey 0 for 1 with a man advantage. No shots on net for the Devils. Here's Henrique now. He'll step in. Henrique down low. That pass was in behind the target, Green. And Green's not at his point, so this one goes down the ice where it will be icing against Montreal.
Sometimes when you're killing a penalty, you try to get too cute finding the hole in the ice to put it. Here you see Gilbert stick to Sitterdrink on the shot by Elias. And Gonchar gets it high and hard. You got to get it on the glass. If you get it on the wall, a player can use their body to block it in. But when it gets up off that glass, it's unpredictable. The angle that it's going to come off of, and most times it will clear the zone. Good job by the veteran.
Green off the draw. Big shot block there by Gallagher. Montreal, always a strong shot-blocking team. They're 4th overall in the NHL right now. Here's Subban spinning away from the pressure. Couldn't get it all the way out. Now he retreats and gets it back to Markov. Galchenyuk sweeps it across to Buchanan. Pulls it up onto his stick, walks in, takes the shot, rebound! And Kincaid covers up the loose puck with his glove. Gallagher went straight for the net. And he was right there looking for anything. Loose in front. The chance created by the quick shot by Buchanan, but it stays 3-2. Well, the Pittsburgh Penguins are in Vancouver tonight, looking to go 3-0 in Western Canada. That game is up next at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. The back end of the doubleheader on CBC.
You should tell all my minor hockey kids I coach, somebody has to go to the net. Who's going to go to the net? Brendan Gallagher loves going to the net. Look at him circle in. There, drives right to the net. That opens up the slot. It creates traffic to the net. Buchanan throws it there. They almost got a goal out of it. No one likes driving to the net more than Brendan Gallagher. He is a handful.
Sitting on 96 career points. Played every game this season. Missed only one last season.
He's had some great chances tonight on a couple of turnovers. He's been set up by Galchenyuk. He had Larson give him one right in the slot. And Kincaid was outstanding on both.
Josephson, he has the goal to make it a 1-goal game here in the 3rd period. Under 13 minutes to go. Tipped in there by Pacioretty. Kincaid at his stick, got it to Zidlitsky, chopped away from Weiss, and they're up the boards and out. At center ice, it's Tuomo Ruutu. Ruutu dances it around, finds Tutu's backhander, and he got a second crack at it. But Price, square to the shooter, makes the stop and hangs on.
4th line again for the New Jersey Devils seemed to get the bulk of the chances, probably because last night they didn't have a lot of ice time. So tonight they're probably the fresher group. They only had about 2.5 minutes in the 1st period, but in this 3rd period, they've had great legs. The Josephson goal, and here's Tutu driving to the net. Tried to fool Price with the backhand. Backhand's a tough read coming off the stick. Carey Price makes the save.
Zajac against Buchanan, pulls it back, and quickly on that puck is Gallagher, forcing the issue there, goes up in the air, and finally lands onto the stick of Gonchar. Buchanan snaps it in. Harold hit hard by Gallagher, and the puck drifts inside the Montreal zone where it's scooped up by Sergei Gonchar. Gonchar closing in on 1,300 career games. Now here's Bernier, winds and fires. Long shot stopped by Price. Goes into the corner, nobody home, and the centering pass out front. And now Harold goes back after it. Here's Fraser, up for Bernier. And it's circled back to get that pass. Mark Fraser. That was tipped in. Subban takes a look and then chops it back out to the blue line and out. Here's Eller now. Eller's got a goal tonight. Markov in traffic. And it comes back out to center. Henrique got that puck away to Gomez. Gomez thought he had a step around Thomas. Puts it in the corner. Here's Green now. Out front. Sharp angle shot by Henrique. Price stopped it. Bernier battles down low. Here's Markov to Subban. And that is flipped high in the air. Jacob Delarose corrals it, skates it into the corner against Jaromir Jagr. And now it's Larson. Larson skating it in, throws it out in front. Price got his stick on that and directed it away from the net. Thomas tried to dump it in, it was knocked down, and now here's Cavalieri as the teams go back and forth, and Jagr was winding it up, but it is offside at the blue line. Well, Sunday on Rogers Hometown Hockey, the Canadians and the Bruins. Need we say more? Plus, Ron McLean hosts the pregame show live from the Sportsnet mobile studio in St. John's, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on Sportsnet. You and Bob Cole there tomorrow night.
It will be. Newfoundlander, he'll be thrilled to be hearing all the stories about his hometown.
There's one coming up on him as well, so you won't want to miss that in the pregame show. It's very, very well done.
You look at the move of guys from the center position to the wing, and Camilleri playing center. He's at about 30% of his faceoffs tonight. Not very good. And you look at Travis Zajac, who's two wins on the night. That's it after 2 periods. I mean, you're just not winning enough draws. It's been a real struggle in the faceoff circle.
Here comes Michael Camilleri to center. Little backhand feed, far side for Jordan Tootoo. Out in front, blue puck. Price is down, and he's got it under the pads. Carey Price doing it again. Wasn't quite sure where it was, but he found it and hangs on and keeps it a 1-goal game on Hockey Night in Canada.
Let's check in on our Budweiser Red Light scoreboard. Looks like the Leafs' 11-game losing streak will come to an end. A 4-0 lead against the Oilers midway through the third period. You have to think maybe PK Subban knew tonight would be a special night for him. This is him in the pregame skate, having fun, having some fun with his old teammate, taking some shots on Tokarski, and then giving up a little souvenir to his #1 fan as well. And it has been a big night for PK. 3 assists, his 5th multi-point game this year, and they've needed every one of those helpers because the Habs now holding a 1-goal lead. Dave?
He's been putting on a show tonight, and nobody loves to do that more than him. Here's Tootoo with a drive that hits Josephson right in front. But it's still just a 1-goal game here, just past the midway point of the third period.
No mistake in his flamboyancy for not being ready to play in his competitiveness, because no one is more competitive and ready to play than PK Subban.
Prust. Yuri Sekac now in behind the net. Goes into the corner, back and forth with Eller. Now he'll walk out. Josephson trying to hang with him. Sekac has got that long reach. And he gets it free to Eller. And Eller got into traffic, and the Devils finally strip him of the puck and just bank it out. Tootoo gave it a bump there by Yemlin. Last time he did that, Yemlin ended up in the penalty box. Nothing wrong with that contact, however.
Physical player, and he's been a bit erratic, and I think his ice time is kind of coincides with his play. You'll see games where he's playing that 20 minutes a game, 22 minutes. Then you'll see games where he's down to 13, 11 minutes because his play's erratic. And Michel Therrien just wants to see Yemlin play a more steady game that he can play, that physical game. Kind of like if he played every game the way he played the Boston Bruins, because he plays them so hard. He's such a force in those games. If he played every game like that, which is hard to do, but as many as you can, I think that's the kind of game they like to see him play.
He loves going head-to-head with Lucic.
Oh, does he ever?
They've got a running battle. Markov dumps it back into the Devils zone, and Fraser's first back, but he's turned it over. And here's Galchenyuk making moves. Galchenyuk up high, dumps it off to Markov. Into the corner, and it hops over the stick of Buchanan. Gallagher turns and fires one. That goes off the side of the net, and now Galchenyuk's got it again. Leaves it for Subban. Behind the net for Gallagher out front. And Buchanan was in too deep. He'll go back to PK. Subban making moves, skating the line all the way around the edge, curls back, takes a look at Markov, gets it to him, that shot for Gallagher, loose puck, scores! Thomas Buchanan!
Buchanan's had 1 assist in his last 6 games, and he hadn't scored since January 17th. 2 big ones tonight. What a move by PK. He drags it along the line. He makes Havlat switch over. Havlat switches over. He can't get out to block the shot. He reaches with his stick. It comes to the net. And a fortuitous rebound. What a drag across. Zajac doesn't switch with Havlat. He keeps on Subban. And this puck to the net by Markov just can't be handled. Gallagher right in front again. Where else would he be but in front of the net? A nice bounce over to the left of Kincaid. And Buchanan buries it into the back of the net. He won't get an assist on this possibly. But boy, oh boy, he was a big part of the play. As Buchanan just waits and waits and waits and then picks his spot. The back of the net it goes. 2-goal lead again for the Montreal Canadiens.
Gallagher and Markov get the assist, but you're right, Subban front and center on the play again. He's having a night.
Been the best player on the ice. I mean, incredible what he can do with the puck and his patience and poise, and he made that goal happen.
And they got it again. There's Pacioretty, scores! Dale Weiss on the doorstep, and they've blown it open. Too much, too good, and this is their period. Montreal up 5-2.
Some injuries have forced Michel Therrien to move some players around, and one of them was to move Dale Weiss onto this top line with the injury to P.A. Parenteau. And you look at a guy who just goes out and plays the simple game. He runs into people, he goes to the traffic areas, he doesn't try to overhandle the puck, but he'll battle for pucks, and right there, he just out-battles Zidlitsky. That's just a soft play in front by the New Jersey defenseman and a guy who just out-battled you. As his stick gets broken, and he probably shoveled that into the net with a broken stick, as you see it just waving around there. Canadians have taken over here.
2 goals in 30 seconds, and that is the second time tonight they've scored a couple of goals within a minute of each other. And it's a 3-goal lead. Subban takes a little shove there from Cavalieri, then shoves him right back. Here's Jagr. Trying to go out in front, and the puck, here's Cavalieri on his backhand. Nice effort to try to get that towards the net. Down the ice, and Prust is after it. Sekac had to go off a station, and it landed right down in front of Zidlitsky, who gets it out to center. Here comes Nathan Beaulieu with some room to skate. Beaulieu with a wrist shot. He's still looking for his first NHL goal. Canadians right in the middle of a stretch of home games broken up by the trip tomorrow night to Boston. Here comes Josephson out front, and what a stop by Price on that hard one-timer by Ruutu. Yeah, don't forget about him. A Price with another beauty save.
Well, Carey Price's left leg, that's about as much as you can outreach that thing, and I thought he actually hurt himself reaching for this. Again, the fourth line for New Jersey, nobody covering the slot. Look how slow the reaction is from Price after he makes this outstretched left leg save right there. And the puck is almost underneath the blade of his skate. And he skated gingerly to the corner.
Gave it a little shake or two right before that face-off. Here's Green with a drive. Josephson. Fourth line back out of the ice for Lou Lamoriello and company. With 6 minutes to go. out to center ice. Dale Weiss for Pacioretty and Desharnais on the last goal by Montreal. It's Weiss' 7th of the season. And Carey Price has got a 3-goal lead to work with here at the Bell Center on a Saturday night in Montreal. Welcome back to Montreal, where the Montreal Canadiens have goals from 4 different players. Thomas Plekanec has a couple. PK Subban with 3 assists on the night.
Last year, Carey Price had a .927 save percentage. That was a career high. He came into tonight's game with a .932 save percentage. So he's working on improving that. I think he's right up there for the Hart Trophy. And there's where he sits amongst the great Canadian goaltenders. And he's right on the heels of Bill Durham. And might edge one closer to him if the Canadiens continue to roll through this one tonight. And he just gives his team a chance to win every single night. And by definition of the award, he's right there.
Want to welcome the viewers that watch the Columbus Blue Jackets beat the Ottawa Senators tonight. Welcome to the Bell Center. Dave Randolph with you, along with Gary Galley and David Amber. And a 5-2 Montreal lead with 5.5 to go. Devils scored first very early, and then Montreal's power play's been on fire. Here's Yemlin with a drive, bouncing puck in front of Keith Kincaid, who got the start tonight for the Devils. Thomas Plekanec with a couple of goals and 3 assists for PK Subban.
The story tonight really has been PK Subban. I mean, he has been the story. 3 power play assists. He's controlled the play. He didn't get an assist on the 4th, but he should have. He was all over the ice tonight. Just his vision and puck movement, typical PK Subban, and I think he's a big part of the reason why Montreal's got this lead.
Out to center ice. There's David Desharnais, leaned on by Henry. And Dale Weiss, who just scored a goal, chopped it into the zone, sent it out in front. Weiss scores again. Dale Weiss with his 2nd of the night, and you can make it 6-2 Montreal.
The lug nuts have come off the wheels of the New Jersey Devils, who had a 1-0 lead at the end of the first period, and were right in there when the 3rd period started. But it's been all Montreal Canadiens who have lost their last 2 games to 2 subpar teams in the league. And tonight in the 3rd period, they have upped the ante and turned this up. And what a great play right there by Pacioretty, who has set up Dale Weiss on the last 2 goals. One a deflection, rebound play in front, and this one a bang-bang play where Green just doesn't contain Weiss. We saw Zidlitsky lose him on the last goal. Green loses him there. Just hard work by Weiss. He's got himself a couple.
Canadiens came into the night with just 6 goals scored in their last 4 games. They've got 6 on the board tonight. And Dale Weiss has got 2. Plekanec with a couple himself, and the 3-game win streak for the Devils looks like it's coming to an end.
Tough gig going from the Maple Leafs to the Canadiens and back-to-back nights, and they haven't won a lot of games in a row. The 3 wins they've had just matches what they did in the very first 3 games of the season. So it's taken that long to amass 3 in a row for the Devils, and the Montreal Canadiens, who don't lose back-to-back games very often, had gone on that road trip and played some real solid teams, played some really top-end NHL teams, and won 5 in a row, and then came back and exhaled and lost to the Arizona Coyotes and the Buffalo Sabres. So you knew they were going to bring the A game tonight. They were patient after getting down 1-0. They had taken over this game. 41-20 are the shots.
5th time this season, Montreal's put 6 on the board, and they're gunning for more. Prost with that sharp-angled shot, and it comes around the boards. Waiting for it is Markov. He'll spin it around. Prost waiting for that one. Fraser leans on him, drives it loose, and Zubras with a chance to clear it, and he does. Those 2 losses you talked about, Gary, of course, both here at home. The last time Montreal won 3 in a row at home, you got to go back to February 2012. It's been a while, and it's not going to happen tonight. Gabriel Dumas had the puck stripped, but in support there is Nathan Beaulieu. What do you think of Beaulieu the more you see him, Gary?
Well, I think he's getting a lot of reps right now, and I think it's a good thing. I think he's somebody that is going to be here for a while. And he's good offensively, but what Michel Therrien wants to see for him is, can he defend, can he play the defensive game? But he's got to learn to be able to put both together. I think if he can become productive, because he's capable, he'll get a good all-around defenseman.
Havlat fans on that initial attempt and throws it back to the line for Larson, who moves it across to Green. Green's wrist shot, blocker stop made by Price. Into the corner, Elias, Zajac, Havlat. Here's Green, his wrist shot stopped by Price. So here's a look at how Montreal has blown it up here in the third period, Gary.
Well, Dale Weiss was a big part of it, but it started off on a play to the net where Gallagher tried to redirect it, and Platanis was the recipient of a wide-open net, and Pacioretty breaks Weiss's stick, but he's got enough of it left to shovel that in. Then he takes a hit by two Devils and beats them all to the net. The Devils just seem to be a step off. They're just not getting to the pucks fast enough. They're not picking up their men fast enough. And the result is Montreal has popped this thing wide open here in the third period.
Gallagher still battling for every inch of there. So is Galchenyuk. Now Gallagher. And Galchenyuk jars it free. Off the boards for Henrique. Sent back in by Gilbert.
Not only did Subban have 3 power play assists, he actually drew the penalty on Zubris on the 4-minute high stick that led to those goals.
Henrique with a snapshot. It was a double minor. Montreal scored quickly on both power plays. And that got him going. Merrill off to Marek Zidlinski. Into the middle of the ice. Off the stick there of Camilleri. Jaromir Jagr's had a bit of a thing going there with Subban earlier in the game, but settled down. Here's Pacioretty. He'll walk out of the corner and take a look around the circle. Cuts in. Pacioretty shoots. Hits the crossbar, and it goes up and out as Mad Max came that close to scoring number 24.
I mentioned that Carey Price has not had a ton of goal support on that run of 4 wins he had. He only had 7 goals to work with, and they won all 4 games. That shows you how important he is. Tonight they've got him 6, and that's going to be plenty for Carey Price as we see Max Pacioretty cut into the slot, and he lays one upstairs. And I think Keith Kincaid's got to be running out of gas, as that's the 44th shot of the Montreal Canadiens.
Talked about how when the Devils came to town, this was always, almost without exception, Martin Brodeur started. In fact, over the last 15 years, only 2 guys other than Martin Brodeur have started for the Devils in this building.
Well, there's a lot of people that might tell you they could not believe Corey Schneider wasn't starting tonight. And with the Devils and how desperate they are for points, you thought that maybe you'd see Schneider. He's been carrying the bulk of the work. He's been a warrior in that sense, but tonight a rest. And 6 goals against the New Jersey Devils. And I can't sit here and blame Keith Kincaid for that. I got to tell you, they just have not been there for him. He's made a number of very good saves, but hasn't been able to hold off in the traffic in front, which isn't his responsibility. And a lot of goals around his crease that people just aren't picking up anybody.
Being outshot 44-22. 1 minute to go here. The Montreal Canadiens are going to bump this mini 2-game losing streak on home ice, and it's going to be a quick turnaround because the Boston Bruins, who won tonight on home ice, are up next. That is tomorrow on Rogers Hometown Hockey. Harold out to Jordan Tutu. And Ruutu just flips that one in there. Gonchar takes a look and backs it up and out of the zone, and it ends up at center ice where Brandon Prust has it down. In it goes. Men on the sideboards by Bernier, who leaves it for Larson. And the crowd says, yeah, this is a whole lot better. Bernier's wrist shot kicked aside by Price. Losses to Arizona and Buffalo at home just don't cut it, but they'll take this. A thorough beating of the New Jersey Devils tonight. And the Montreal Canadiens will take 2 points with a 6-2 win. three stars look like this. PK Subban, as Gary's been telling you, the story for Montreal. 3 power play assists, plus one of the night. Number 1 star, no question. Thomas Plekanec with a couple of goals. And how about Dale Weiss inserted onto that top line, chips in with 2 as well. Those are your 3 stars from Montreal. They're loving it. 6-2 is the final here. Boston is next, and we got lots of hockey still for you tonight on Hockey Night in Canada.